Okay, everyone, welcome on our broadcast today. This is our first time, and we have our partner here, Yang Zhen, with me today. So we are going to talk about a topic which is educational inequality in secondary schools between urban and rural areas in China. So recently, it has been a focus point for the media and for the society to worry about this issue. It's getting more and more like serious, like for inequality for those districts, economies, in culture, and also in schools, in educations, in urban and rural places in China. So today we are going to talk about it. We're going to discover it through several like dimensions about about educational resources distribution, like budgeting. It's like teachers human resource. Why and how is it distributed inequality in like these two regions in China? And we're also going to talk about the the results of this kind of situation based on the students' academic performance and so on. So, what effects does it impact on? And then we are going to dig a little bit deeper for the reason or why it's happening, like from the policy level, from the future policy direction, or the innovation. How do we solve this issue for the future to make it slightly equal for these two regions? So, Yang Chun, what do you think? What do you think is the issue for inequality for the educational resource distribution between these two regions? What do you think about it?
Maybe I will introduce. In the rural and urban, the school classroom. In the rural, the classroom is shabby, but the urban classroom is bright, and the campus environment. In the rural school, it is harsh, but the urban is charming, and the instructional equipment. The first one is the rural school is one to many students. But in the urban school, the instructional equipment is one on one student. And the last one is about the number of the student. Rural classroom is so crowded, but the urban is desolate. In the urban classroom, the student is so less, but the rural classroom student is so many, a lot of students. There are the main differences between the urban and the rural school. And Yusheng, how do you think about the equality in the rural and urban the school?
Well, that sounds a big difference from you, from different classroom facility structure perspective, and from the number of students and the facilities. That looks very obvious differences between the hardwares. Like it's basically based on the budget, the how much money they can get to provide facilities for students. So I got this picture from your your description. So what do you think? What do you think is the reason or the background of causing these issues?
Uh,
Any historical or
Maybe
policy issue which caused this kind of matter?
yes, historic development is the reason, but then the underlying causes and social political context and current manifestations. And Maybe the historic development is focused on the educational equality between urban and rural areas in China has deep historic roots. In the earlier days of New China, the focus is on the development of urban education, resulting in a huge gap. And the Cultural Revolution further exacerbate equality, and cities maintain their relative advantage after the reform and opening up. Although there have been improvements, there is still a huge gap between urban and rural education. And next one is underlying causes. There are 6 points. Unequal resources allocate, economy disparities, household registration system, and migration, and left behind children, culture and social factors. And the last one, it may be the policy implementation challenges. And the next one is social political context. China social political landscape marked by economy, dualism, the system, and centralized education policies for education equality in urban and rural secondary school. The last point is current manifestations. First, there remain a stark contrast in quality of education resources between urban and rural secondary schools. And secondly, disparities in funding and financial resources contribute to educational equality. And the last one is the urban-rural divide also affects the curriculum and educational opportunities available to students. That's all my opinions.
Mm. Well, it sounds like lots of multiple reasons to cause this
Yes,
issue, like from
yes, a lot
politics,
of reasons.
mm, from human
So,
resources, politics, mm, from like basically money, from budgeting, and from like cultural history. So it's an overall cultural issue that foster this kind of situation right now, right?
yes. So, about the equality dimensions, how do you think? So, what's the
Well,
dimensions, yes, of the educational equality between the school?
mm, I guess we do need some kind of measurement, some kind of components to measure the inequality issue for this situation. Like we cannot just say based on our opinions. We need some practical rules or standards for our measurement for this situation. It's like first most important thing we can like measure the facility, the hardwares, like a campus, like classroom settings, like facilities, how much we can invest in the hardwares for the students. We can provide like resources to the students. That's the most obvious and the most important investment and factors for measuring the differences between rural and urban schools. Second of all, we might need to assess them by the process of teaching. That means, except the hardware, we focus on like a teacher's human resource, like how many teachers for each students and how's the quality of their education. It's also could be we focus or measured for the process of this for the like process of this teaching. And the last, we can measure their outputs, like a student's academic performance. Like we used to say, what do you pay is what you get. If we invest the current amount of money of budget to the students in the logical process, the output should be expected. So we can measure the output of like a rural place students compare with urban students' output, their like academic performance. To measure this kind of result is also could be used to measure the inequality issue between these two regions. And the last point we might consider about like a policy issue, like for the government or say the policymakers, how much differences or how equal opportunities, I would say equally like a policy made could be facing these two regions of like schools. So I guess these are the four major points, like based on our management model: input, process, and output, plus monitoring. Monitoring means the policy, means the policy like issues from the governing matter. So today we had a discussion about inequality issue for rural and urban secondary schools in China. We had discussion about the reason which caused the issue, and how do we fix the issue, and maybe a little bit measurement about our future. How do we monitoring this issue for the like a long term to fix the issue? So I guess we had a pretty good discussion here today. We had a pretty good broadcast today. So, Yang, do you have anything you want to add before finishing the show?
So you mentioned a lot of we mentioned a lot of issues between the urban and rural secondary school in China, right? I think maybe addressing these issues requires comprehensive approaches, including policy reform, right, and equitable resources allocation, and efforts to bridge culture divided to ensure that all students regardless of their location, have access to high quality education.
Hmm. Okay. That's
Yes,
something much more further, like a high quality education. That's way beyond the equality of education. That we are choosing like a higher quality of education. That is
yes.
something we can achieve for the future.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thanks, Yangzhen, for coming up to this broadcast today. We had a good time for like sharing this knowledge to people, and hopefully we can keep going for the future for somehow for some other topics or for like deeper discussion on this topic. All right.
Yes.
Okay, thanks for having me today, and that will end off our broadcast. I'll see you later.
Okay, see you.